Welcome to this Windows channel, and this is a tech news update. We are Tuesday, June 13th, 2017, and today in our tech news update, we have Apple that is actually really working on something that has to do with self-driving software or self-driving cars. Tim Cook, while being interviewed, has said, "Yep, we are working on something." But it would seem that maybe not the car itself, but more of a self-driving system, software, and focused AI. So by using artificial intelligence, and apparently it would, in the terms of Tim Cook, be one of the biggest projects at Apple right now. That's interesting considering that last year, lots of people that were working on self-driving cars were laid off by Apple. Well, Bitcoin's hit a little snag yesterday, as we were reporting that for the first time it actually reached 3,000. Actually, on Sunday it reached $3,041 in value. It dropped 16% to 25.75. Now, the problem with this is that it created such traffic that for a moment they thought that there was a distributed denial of service attack. But actually, it was mostly because the transactions were too high for the system that actually processes the bitcoins. So this, of course, shows that there is still a few problems to fix with bitcoins, and also shows how volatile the value of this currency can actually be right now. Well, France and the UK are actually working together and trying to find social media companies if they do not remove or moderate terrorist or extremist content from their services. So that means Twitter, Facebook, and other social media sites and companies might have to actually, fine-tune their algorithms to find all extremist content in pages on their social media. The New York Times wants to open the comments section on the internet to more content. Right now, it had some comments sections, but very, very few, moderated by some workers, basically on very, very specific subjects. But now they want to open this to pretty much everything and use alphabet artificial intelligence to moderate comments and remove nasty comments that should not be there. So this is going to be interesting because if artificial intelligence can actually work in moderating extremist content, it could be actually very interesting and used widely and help clean up the comment section pretty much everywhere that are in general pretty crappy, I gotta say. Well, interesting. Security consultants were actually asked to respond to WannaCry, say, who do you think is the worst, the bad guy in here? What do you think? Do you think Microsoft is to blame, and so on? And a very interesting response came out of this security panel. Pretty much everyone says, first of all, Microsoft did pretty much everything right. They even did more than they should have. And most of them agree that Microsoft does not owe any fixes for old systems. And that is extremely clear that running an old system that does not have updates is risky. So they say Microsoft is very clear with that, and there's absolutely nothing that Microsoft owes anyone on that side. They say also that part of the blame can be given to companies that are not updating fast enough, and that of course is the biggest issue in what's happening. So by actually saying, look, if we update a little faster, might be better. But one last thing that security experts say is, we know that Windows 10 is the latest operating system. Maybe what Microsoft needs to address is why aren't companies upgrading fast enough? The Electronics Entertainment Expo starts today, and many, many, many announcements already. We've seen tons of games announced. And of course, we have PlayStation that has its own, coverage. But it is interesting to see that Xbox One is really, really taking the, spotlight here with what's happening. So it seems that this fall, lots of interesting stuff will happen, and more announcements, of course, to come as the Electronic Entertainment Expo, starts today and will run through Thursday. Xbox One X, everything was right at the keynote, and as more and more analysts are looking at what was announced, they say Microsoft just hit the spot. Everything was perfect, unlike, the announcements of the Xbox One at the original keynote, which was kind of partly a fiasco in the way that they were announcing things. So Xbox One X has everything right, and now we've learned that it will even have compatibility with original Xbox game, not just 360. They say that the compatibility of 360 games is extremely popular, and that it is very, very, very important to continue. And of course, now they are going to actually have the original Xbox as compatibility mode in games coming to the Xbox. And finally, in the last bit of news, one of the interesting numbers that came up at the Xbox event is what is the average age of an Xbox player? A lot of people seem to say, well, gamers are, young generations, 20-year-old and less. Well, that's not exactly right. They were saying that the average Xbox player is 35 years old, and they say that is partly why the price tag of $499 might not be that big of a price tag, because a lot of analysts were saying $500 for a console is a lot, but when you see what it has to offer, it is actually not that bad. And of course, as time will go by, it will slowly drop down in price. So that is very, very interesting, and of course, we'll see how well it actually goes when it's originally released in November. And this was the Tech News Update for Tuesday, June 13th, 2017. Today's live show day, we have our tech show at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1900 UTC. And we also have our Windows Insider Hour at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2200 hours UTC. So hope that everyone can watch our live shows today. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. And thank you so much for watching our videos.